Yeah, I know I do wear this shirt a lot on Saturdays. Today is April the 7th, 2018, and I did go and see Ready Player One today. I'm not going to give it the highest marks, but I am also not going to say that's a bad movie. I don't think that it's fair that it was given a Metacritic score lower than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because I think Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a bigger failure as a film than this one was. I'm going to real quick on my phone here take a look at what Metacritic is currently saying about the movie. It's possible that it's changed and gotten better. It's possible that it's gotten worse. But let's see here. Using this site is not the easiest thing in the world. Come on. Ready. This is exciting, isn't it? It's my vlog. Ready Player One. Yeah, it's still 64. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a 65. So, that's not fair. I've heard people say that ratings in general are just sort of, pointless. You should see any movie that you find interesting and deal with how you feel about it afterwards. But to that, I say there's too many movies. There's too much coming out. And movies are not the only thing that I spend my time watching or enjoying. I play a lot of video games. I watch things on Netflix. I try and read. I find myself doing that a lot less than I probably should. And I keep forgetting that I have my Discord on while I'm doing this, so that beep was probably audible. Anyway, it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie by far. I hesitate to say that people are going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it if they are not in my age bracket. If you weren't born between 1975 and 1995, a lot of the references are going to feel dated. They are dated. The book that the movie is based on was a love letter to 80s pop culture, and some 90s stuff and some older stuff. And it's just, it revels in the references it's making. It's a visual feast. I haven't had this much trouble following a movie since the Lego Movie, also published by Warner Brothers. Isn't that weird? Is Warner Brothers just going to become known as the studio that makes movies where tons of stuff is going on? Maybe. So if you are in around my age, if you're between 25 and 45, I think you'd probably get a kick out of it. I went and saw it with somebody that's not even 25, and he got a huge kick out of it. He really liked it. But he's also somebody that sort of explores that period of time as like pastime, much like the characters in the movie do. So it was probably more ideal for him than it was for me. It does have one very interesting message. Without giving too much away, it's a movie in a lot of ways about regret, about decisions that we make that we wish we could unmake, and what we do instead, maybe not to atone, because maybe it's not something that they did wrong, it's just something that they did that seemed right at the time and then later seemed very not right. And I think as someone going through a midlife crisis, I can definitely identify with that. I keep saying I'm going through a midlife crisis. I don't really feel like it. Because I understand the concept. I understand that you get to a certain age and you go, what have I done with my life? I need to do all the things that I meant to do before I die while I'm still young enough to enjoy them. And that's what a midlife crisis is. What about sitting in front of a camera on a laptop and bearing my soul to the internet? Seems like something that I've always wanted to do and should really try and do during my prime years before I die. But it is. I know that someday I'm going to look back and wish that I did more at this period in my life than I'm doing. And this will be sort of a reflection of that. But I'm also hoping that this will lead me to do something that I never thought I would do. And I don't even know what that would be. And that's, when I started this, I mentioned going outside of my comfort zone. Like, that was why I wrote gay vampire fan fiction. It's not something that would have interested me, but I found a way to make it interesting to myself, and I got a lot of praise for it. A lot of praise. I've gotten about 100 positive comments on the archive of our own where it's posted. So, whoop-de-doo. But any sort of positive reinforcement from people, from complete strangers that would have no reason to tell you they like something. Like when your friends tell you they like something that you've done, you find yourself going, well, are you just saying that because you're my friend, or are you saying that because you genuinely appreciate whatever I've done? And when it's strangers, you know that there's no reason for them to say they really like it unless they really do. So that's validation in a manner. But one last thing I want to talk about. I went out for beers with a friend on Thursday. I went out for beers with a friend yesterday and ended up spending a whole bunch of time with people. And then I went and saw a movie with some people today. I am so tired of being social for the time being. And it's not that I don't like these people. It's not necessarily the people that ever sort of tire me out or distress me. It's the need to represent myself in a social way that is sort of, again, pushing me not just out of my comfort zone, but really sort of forcing me into a role that is just stressful. And sometimes I feel like there's very little payoff. And I'm glad that people enjoy spending time with me, and they want to be around me because they find me entertaining or pleasant. I don't know how. And again, it's that validation, like, oh, okay, you're not just saying that you can spend your time with anybody, but you want to spend it with me. Well, okay, all right, thank you. Sometimes I just want to fly around in space. Speaking of, once I've finished this and uploaded it, I'll be going back to Elite Dangerous to spend my 10 million credits that I've recently made exploring. Gonna get a new ship. The best thing is going to be replacing this piece of... It's a good ship. It's a better ship than what I was using before, especially for what I'm doing with it right now, which is exploration. The problem is that it just sounds like a steam engine. And I want something that sounds like a spaceship. So I'm going to upgrade into something that does sound like a spaceship, or at least a small Cessna prop plane. Anyhow, this has been Eric's Hornets, and tomorrow will be better.